The UK is set to release a key defence review. It aims to ensure that the armed forces are ready or is ready and able to fight in a modern war.
Every part of society, every citizen of this country has a role to play, because we have to recognise that things have changed. In the world of today, the front line, if you like, is here. The threat we now face is more serious, more immediate, and more unpredictable than at any time since the Cold War.
The assessment will warn of an immediate and pressing threat from Russia, as well as sophisticated and persistent challenges that China poses to British interests. The UK's existing fleet of nuclear-powered attack submarines will be expanded with a new model developed with Australia under the AUKUS security pact, which also includes the United States. And for more, Olly Barratt joins us live from London. Olly, ahead of this review that's due to be released or published by the end of today, Mr. Starmer said his government will deliver 3 fundamental changes. What are these changes?
Well, the first is that the UK will move to what's being described as warfighting readiness. The second theme is that the government is saying, off the back of this review, that everything it does as a result of it will add to the strength of the NATO military alliance. And that's what Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, has been setting out earlier today. He also says that, thirdly, the government will, in the words of the Prime Minister, accelerate innovation at a wartime pace, with the Prime Minister insisting that the UK can become the fastest innovator in the NATO military alliance. There is a lot more in there, of course: new submarines, new nuclear warheads, the upgrading of equipment and housing for military personnel, more funding for cyber defence, more funding for AI measures that could be used to speed up information to people on the battlefield. One big question remaining is about spending and how quickly the UK will ramp it up. The government is saying today that it's committed to getting to 3% of GDP being spent on defence by the end of the next Parliament, but not putting a firm timeline on that just yet. And one of the key things to watch out for in the coming days is going to be whether we get reaction from the Trump administration, because the White House certainly feels that European countries should be spending as much as 5% of their GDP on defence. So all eyes will be, as I say, on whether Washington approves of the package that the UK Prime Minister has been setting out today.
Olly, also all eyes as well on the wording in terms of what counts as a threat to British armed forces. So Russia and China, we mentioned just before crossing to you, immediate and pressing threat from Russia. For China, the wording is sophisticated and persistent challenge that China poses. Considering China's weight as a trading power, not surprising if the UK should take a softer tone on Beijing.
I think that's exactly right, and that's exactly what is happening here. The UK being very cautious indeed in the way that it speaks about China and the challenges perceived to be presented and perceived from it. And it was interesting in the Prime Minister's speech in Scotland earlier, he mentioned Russia by name several times, but did not directly mention China in his speech. And there are other countries mentioned in the review as well. Iran and North Korea, for example, are described as regional disruptors as well. So certainly challenges in different parts of the world, but different ways of talking about them and describing them, and a slightly different tone, as you say, from London towards Beijing compared to London towards Moscow, partly because of that push at the moment to try and improve relations between the UK and China, and also improve trade and business ties as well.
Some specific deliverables from this review would be these nuclear, up to 12 nuclear-powered submarines, which will draw on a model developed with Australia as part of the AUKUS security pact. What more details do we have of that?
Indeed, it's being described as up to 12 new submarines under that programme with Australia and the United States. These are nuclear-powered but conventionally armed attack submarines, and they would come into use and start replacing the existing fleet, it's expected by around the end of the next decade. The way that this is described by the UK Defence Secretary John Healey is he says that they are state-of-the-art submarines patrolling international waters, and he says that makes Britain secure at home and strong abroad.
Oh, thanks, Olly Barratt. They're reporting live from London today, of course, due for the release of that strategic review from the UK.